as we like to go on location, either in the studio, as we did last time with artist Haley Mellon. Now we're going inside the home of collector Keith Rivers in Los Angeles.
Hello and welcome. Thank you guys for joining in. Come on in. Hey, what's up? It's Keith Rivers. We're in Los Angeles today and we're going to check out some of my art. I'm a former football player. I used to play in the NFL. I started USC, played there for 4 years, and then upon graduating got drafted to the Cincinnati Bengals. I was there for 4 years, and from there I went to the New York Giants for 2 years, and from the New York Giants I played with the Buffalo Bills in upstate New York for a year. Now I collect contemporary art, and I spend a lot of my time traveling the world to see museums and see gallery shows all throughout the world. For me, when I got done playing football, I debriefed my career. I looked at some of the things that I did right and some of the things I did wrong. And not that collecting art is my career, but if I'm going to do something and give bandwidth toward it, I want to do it the best that I possibly can. And for me, I try to take the same discipline that I would take in football to collecting art, whether it's going to museums, seeing a certain amount of shows a week, or it's watching an artist video and studying one artist a day. So I just try to be tenacious about what I'm doing and studying and learning, so I have a good grasp on the artists that I collect or the artists that I have interest in or that are in that same lineage. So when I first got into art, my first experience was going to MoMA and seeing an Oldenburg show in 2009. Now Oldenburg is obviously a pop artist, but he does have some element of conceptual art to him, and kind of being in Los Angeles, conceptual art is a big thing here, whether it be from David Hammons and Gallery Jam and whatnot. Conceptual art is kind of what I'm drawn toward, and then from there I've kind of branched out into whether it's figurative art or photography or video, time-based media. So the crux of the collection starts with conceptual art, and it's always going to have some through line of conceptual art, but there is all different kinds of art as I've grown in art and explored and learned more. For me, I would always tell somebody, if you're going to get into collecting, don't buy anything for a year. Take a year and go to museums and develop your taste. So it's hard to get guys to listen, but if they're willing, there's a few guys I know that are thinking about getting into art. So I'm just trying to caution them, like, take your time, buy books, read, and go to museums and just learn as much as possible. The importance to me of art books and just reading in general is just that all the information's there. They put it all, whether it's in an artist interview or whether it's in a podcast, however you want to take the information in, it's all there, and you can really find out, what's, what you want to get out from the artist. Right now, the few artists that whose body of work that I'm really inspired by are David Hammons, Itel Adnan, just because I'm looking at things that I think have some type of conversation or correlation to the works that I collect. But I think if you think about David Hammons, he's in a Art Forum article with Thelma Golden, and Thelma Golden is saying that her holy trinity in art is David Hammons, Robert Colescott, and Adrian Piper. So I think you can't really go wrong with David. I moved to Europe for a year because in college I studied public policy and urban development. I wanted to learn art, and I wanted to learn a little bit of French, and also I just wanted to take a break from LA. But one of the biggest reasons was to have the opportunity to spend time and around all these paintings that a lot of these other artists are having conversations with, whether it's like Jeff Wall doing a matinee and see the actual paintings. So for me, it was just the opportunity to see the actual paintings that I'm reading about, that these artists are in dialogue with. An impactful piece of art for me was going to the Soul of a Nation show. I went to the Soul of a Nation show in 2017 and saw so many great works by artists of color that I hadn't seen, because a lot of things have been not displayed. But, from that show, I saw this artist, Roy DiCarava, and then I travel a lot for art, and I went to Milwaukee, and I ended up seeing this artist, John Edmonds, who stuck out amongst LaToya Ruby Frazier, Gordon Parks, obviously Roy, Dina Lawson, Carrie Mae Weems, and that night I spent the whole night searching all his work, and I came across this Hood series, which was very important for me just because it was a direct reference to Trayvon Martin, and Trayvon Martin was murdered in the city that was the city that's about 5 minutes away from my town in high school. And, you know, it really impacted me is that I could have been him. So the piece is a series that he did, and he photographs himself or photographs friends, and it's just it's just a hooded sweatshirt, because if you look at somebody from the back wearing a hood, you don't really know who they are. You can't tell a color, the hood covering everything up. But for whatever reason, there's a negative connotation, or you think it's maybe a young black male wearing the hood. So, the series is really interesting, and I thought it really broke down I guess some of the stereotypes that go around with the hooded sweatshirt and why they have to be so negative about the hooded sweatshirt, because it's a utility. If it's raining, you throw your hood on. I think art matters in the midst of everything that we're going through. I stopped short of calling it a watershed moment, because this stuff has been going on forever. But I think art is important because it changes the way you think. It gives you a different perspective. It challenges you and asks you to look at things differently. And I think if you can really get people to believe, I think if you let it, art will change your life. So.